Hello and welcome to Walk It Off Radio, your home for sports talk every Sunday night and throughout the week here on the internets with your hosts, Drew and Dave. Now, what I didn't get to do with that intro, thank you very much. Thank you. For everybody's knowledge, that was my first time ever introing Walk It Off Radio. I felt like Bambi right there, but I certainly don't have the prowess that you do. You've got that down to a science, Drew.
Sorry, definitely been Bogart in the intros, huh?
You know, the only thing I didn't get to the opportunity that I didn't give you there was to say your name like you give me at the beginning. So let's just try that real quick. All right. Welcome to Walk It Off Radio with your hosts, Dave and.
Nah, it doesn't work.
You're right. You just can't put it in that order. It's alphabetical that way, Drew.
Look at this. It's a grab for top billing.
I know. This is not a friendship. This is a competition. This is purely transactional. That was fun, though. Welcome to Walk It Off Radio. It's Wednesday night.
We're here. We made it. Back onto another video episode.
These are so much fun. I look forward to these all week. I'm glad we fit this in despite all the internet hubbub that I've been dealing with. My internet's gone out on us twice, so this is the third time we've done this. Don't talk shit about the internet. That's the rule.
Oh, wait, we didn't get kicked off this time?
No, we didn't. We may have to see.
Oh, shit. My maniacal laughter is still there.
I know, and if it's anything like what I saw, it just froze, and then you just came back mid-maniacal laugh, and it was gold. So I'm going to have to show that to you for sure.
The second you said internet issue.
Don't do that to me. Don't do that to me. That faked me out so good. All right.
Oh, man. Good stuff.
Good stuff. All right.
Are we ever going to get to talking about sports yet tonight?
You know, I think we should just start talking about sports.
Not yet. We just got here. What you drinking tonight, buddy?
So I drank a cherry Pepsi, and that's it. No booze tonight. As much as I would love a beer, I'm just I figured tonight I'd rather have the caffeine for two reasons. One, I wanted to make sure that I had a little pep in my step for this discussion. And two, I am a mere 3 hours away from driving to Cardinal Stadium in Glendale, Arizona to get my first vaccination.
Yeah.
This is where I wish we had like a soundboard, like like the Monday Morning Drive or the whatever it is, and just like play some weird honking
No, damn
and
it.
applause.
We are not a morning radio show. We are a late night radio show. Professionalism is the name of the game.
As you can tell by the precedent that we've set. It's true.
This isn't the radio show, so
that's fair. We
can be a little bit more loose. But yeah, man, that's exciting news.
I'm
Get
excited.
that vaccination. Everybody get out there, get your stuff going. And maybe we'll be able to hang out again sometime soon. Go to some sports games together. Full cap.
Oh my gosh. I can't even imagine that. I mean, it is going to be... I haven't grappled fully with my feelings on when that actually happens. I imagine it's going to be like a frog in boiling water, right? Like it seems drastic now, but once, incrementally over a year that, I've been to a low capacity NBA game now, I'm considering traveling to Nashville after my vaccination. Things like that. These are milestones that maybe I'll feel better about it. But right now, unless it's a Diamondbacks game, which full capacity is going to be probably less than COVID capacity because they're horrible. I'm not looking forward to that part, unfortunately.
No, it's going to take some getting used to again. Just being shoulder to shoulder with somebody is going to freak us out for a while. but that's okay because, as you said, man, this is a process. And this first step, this long overdue step, is getting shots in arms.
That's right.
And that's exciting that you get to break into Cardinal Stadium at midnight to get a hot dog vendor to put a shot in your arm.
Yep.
It's a good deal. I'm actually scheduled for mine this week coming up. Nashville has opened up theirs a little bit further, and now us essential workers, like sports talk radio hosts,
Yep. That's it. I would make that argument, but
are here in the line. So yeah, let's get to it. Let's hug our bros again. Come on.
I can't wait. I got a big ass hug for you, Drew. When I'm out there, man, it's gigantic. So just
Don't
so
you
know,
threaten me.
beware. I know. Don't threaten me with a good time. Yes, I can't wait for that. So we were talking, daydreaming a little earlier about some of the shoes that drop once that happens. Like the Sounds are about to open up. The Nashville SC schedule just dropped.
Today.
Maybe these are some things on our horizon.
Can you believe that this is only Nashville SC's second MLS season?
No, and much fewer home games in that too, right? I mean, that's crazy. But
With everything that happened in that first season, the COVID delay, the opening night that we were at,
that's right. Start, stop.
them getting kicked out of the restart tournament in Florida, turning it on halfway through the season, going on that amazing playoff run. It feels like it was 4 different seasons already.
It does. They were more fragmented too, I feel like, than just about any of the others. So just reminiscing real quick, baseball had the spring training start and then didn't really get off the ground. So they halted, didn't really have a season that started. The NFL didn't. They essentially played a regular season, relatively speaking.
No preseason games.
No preseason
No one missed
games. No, I now I remember why I really enjoyed those 4 weeks more. And so the NBA had a start and a significant season under its belt, a stop, and then the bubble. And then the NHL had roughly the same thing. So one stop, one start, and that was the bubble.
And they both had incredibly abbreviated off seasons.
That's true, and then essentially restarted right back up. So, but MLS was weird in that way because they had those, like you mentioned, starts and stops, the restart tournament that some teams like our own Nashville SC was left out of. You're right, that made it feel just extra long because it was so fragmented.
So bizarre thinking this is the second MLS season. And maybe the last one at Nissan Stadium before that beautiful new stadium opens up at Fairgrounds.
Gosh, that's on the horizon too. It's going to be a whole new world in Nashville sports. That's exciting, and that's been kind of a hiccup this year. I mean, geez, what hasn't been a hiccup in 2020? And I know that's a euphemism for a lot of it, but we had this great trajectory of growing Nashville sports, and it's kind of felt like that diminished a bit of that. I'm excited to get back to that excitement, especially around that MLS and around that stadium opening, and hopefully around a couple of really successful teams too in the NHL.
You
and
saw
the
what
NFL.
the new stadium did for the Sounds. Just made it a destination.
Yep.
As much as we loved going to Greer, having a good time there, it's a different world.
It is.
And different crowds. I mean, selling out that stadium, having one of the best attendance in the minor leagues, continuing the effort to push for MLB to Nashville.
I absolutely, and I will always I'll pat him on the back, right? Like it sounds like something that might be antithetical to my normal kind of feelings, but what they did with the bandbox in right field is really one of the coolest things. It transformed the feeling in that whole stadium, and like you said, made it a destination, and it made it to where, I mean, people are clubbing and hanging out there. I probably sound old when I say
Tinder hub.
Yeah, it is. Isn't that like the #1 Tinder meetup in Nashville? But it's something that if you would have put it on paper beforehand, I'd have been like, no, I don't want people who aren't watching baseball to be hanging out there. But it created a really good
I still don't understand why people go to the game to not watch the game. But hey, yeah, there's a party right out there in right center every single night.
Yeah,
And everybody who wants to watch the game can just grab a beer there and walk a couple feet away.
that's true.
Go to your seats. Go to those people's seats. They're not using them.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, so many seats left open there. But I do want them to bring back the basketball shooting, the tic tac toe, or Connect Four with basketballs. That is
Connect
a blast.
Score.
Connect Score. That's right. Is that what they wound up calling it?
I don't remember. I don't even remember what was. We went in on that for the Nashville Sounds. We were going to name that event.
We did, yeah.
And then we never got an actual official name for it.
No.
So
It's the only thing I recall of it now is like it's Lost Ball City, because I'd show up there and they were like, well, we have 4 balls or something like that. And they didn't have any going. So
no, but when we can have guests on the show again, we'll hopefully get someone from the Sounds in here. We'll grill them on that for sure.
that is high on our investigative journalism list. There's no doubt about it. Yeah. What are you sipping on there?
I thought I was going to get fancy like you the last episode or so. Made myself a White Russian.
Did you? I love
Not
that.
just in honor of Alex Ovechkin hitting yet another milestone, but
That's very
that it happens to be one of my preferred drinks when I'm just chilling, having a nice easy night.
I respect that immensely. There is an outdoor theater not far from where I live in Phoenix, and they were showing the Big Lebowski the other day. And I went there. I had a nice, cozy back corner seat away from a ton of people. Beautiful night. And they had canned White Russians. And Drew, it was...
Ooh, I don't know about that.
It was the only option there because they don't have a full bar. Otherwise, I would have gone for one. But it was impressive how good it was. It was really nice.
Doing amazing things with canned drinks these days.
It's true. Gosh,
Unfortunately, 90% of them are seltzers.
I know. Boo. Boo, boo,
But no,
boo.
just busted out the shaker, made up a nice frothy White Russian, and we're sitting relaxing. You're right, man. If you think Lebowski and you can't have a bad time. You just a nice relaxed night.
That's exactly right. Pour yourself a Caucasian, and you're good. Yeah, I love it, man. I love it. So what's been going on in the sports world?
Oh man, got plenty to talk about every Sunday night, that's for sure, when we're on the radio.
Always.
So we're overflowing again onto your video waves, your internet waves. And this has been so much fun, man. It's good to see. It's good to get a little midweek hang in here. And it's good to get to talk about some of the stuff that, might slip through the cracks on Sunday, either from timeliness or just a full docket when we get in the studio and start talking. So it's nice to get in here. Of course, March Madness is the big thing, but we got here just after another Grizz win. They're above 500 now. Been hovering around there all season, but now we're getting into the serious push. The second half of the NBA schedule. It's time to shoot a little bit higher. You don't want to be in that play-in tournament. So
Yeah.
hopefully the Grizz can climb their way out of that, because that's going to be a dogfight the whole way. That's what we're hoping for. And again, John Morant does something amazing every single game. It's so much fun to watch him. We saw your awesome photo on Instagram from when you were at the game there in Phoenix.
Awesome.
Seeing Ja dunk. Hey, it's first person. It's fun stuff.
That's true. That's true. The content creator.
I was excited when got to the NSC game earlier this year. First COVID game I went to with the limited capacity and the special complications, everything that was going on there. And happened to catch the goal right in front of us.
It doesn't get much better than that. It really does. That's why you go see things live, is for moments like that.
Yeah, and don't watch it through your phone, obviously. But you gotta take a shot every now and then. We do it for you guys. We gotta have that hashtag content up on @WalkItOffRadio.
Yeah, it's the balance. You're like, I'm not going to take a picture, but I really want to. If I just leave it open for 30 seconds, I'll be able to catch something, and then I'll be able to put it away for the whole game. And that's the goal. That's the goal.
Right on, exactly. Yep. And both of us have some experience through our previous work from music blogs and stuff like that. I've occasionally had to go out there and snap some photos, so
that's true.
You know how to not let it interfere with the show.
That's true, and it is an art.
Still have a good time.
It really is, but the big key is just be willing to put it away and know that you're going to miss some chances, but make sure you lock it down and get some good stuff and then be done and enjoy it. So
Be present. How many times are you going to go back and watch that video? Although I go back and watch some of those videos.
Yeah, I do too. And it's really cool the further you
hit
get.
Play on the cheer of the crowd. If you catch it at that right moment, it's something real nice to relive.
It is. But, and like you said, Ja has been creating those opportunities all the time. I think honestly, and this isn't a hot take at all, one of the best things that has happened because of Ja coming there is just this fancy notoriety that's coming to Memphis, which is the stark opposite of what the Grizz have been historically. It's almost hard to wrap your head around. It's almost like they have to dig themselves out to get to zero of notoriety, even though they had great teams, and then start adding in there to get it. Like Ja's been doing this for over a year now, and these kinds of things. And I think we're finally getting to the point where people are seeing it more, and we're thinking of Memphis as a high-flying basketball city.
Like Memphis loved the grit and grind Grizz.
That's
no
true.
doubt about it. Absolutely. Memphis Grizzlies fans love the grit and grind Grizz. Will never be forgotten. I got Tony Allen pepper grinders.
That's awesome. I forgot about that.
Those are things that exist.
Yes.
Because people wanted it. But going from that to a must-watch Game Pass team, that's huge. That's a quantum leap forward.
It is. And you got to think it's going to attract talent too, because Memphis is in basketball purgatory too, free agent purgatory, just like a lot of the other mid-market teams, and just like Phoenix has been for a long time. Even though Phoenix is a pretty major market, it is one of the best ways for them to grow out of it. So picking Ja was one of the best things that this franchise, has done. Even outside of his ability to play, but he was the right kind of player that we needed. And that's what's resonating more and more when I see those is it's so nice to be building our team around a guy like that.
And I'm also going to take credit for that, by the way, because I don't know if you remember, during that draft lottery, you threw a little draft lottery party.
That's right.
And we're disappointed by what happened with the Suns, obviously. I was a little disappointed with what happened to the Knicks, but we were rooting for Memphis to move up. I brought a Lorenzen Wright basketball card for a little bit of luck there. You know, your Memphis boy right there.
That's right.
And that's what happened. Getting that number 2 pick, amazing for that franchise. And that's why we get to see this league pass ready team every single night. That thunderous breakaway dunk off the steal Morant made tonight was only boring in comparison to his previous game's dunk. My God, that hanging in the air with the left hand, catching the alley-oop.
How do you do that, man?
That was unreal. It looked like he just stalled out in the air.
Yeah.
Got that thing under control and did it all lefty. Unreal. I mean, we posted it. Everybody posted it. Go watch that highlight if you haven't yet.
It's pure posterization. Like, it is the perfect... You see that and you're like, man, I would have that on my wall. I would. Like, that. It's perfect for that. So it's so great. And it's that kind of energy.
So clean.
Yeah. For an oop that wasn't where it needed to be. I mean, let's be honest. That's why it turned into such a wild dunk, is because that ball was not placed where it needed to be. And Ja made it look so clean. It was impressive.
Unreal, man. Unreal.
Yeah.
That's just cool stuff. Cool stuff going around. So how's your bracket looking?
Well, see, now I got to make the decision of whether to tell you about. I have 2 brackets. Which one? Do I tell you about the one that's really good or the one that's really, really pitiful?
Well, now you just told everybody about both, so you don't have that choice. Come on, man. I got like 5 brackets.
I know. So I'm
going to talk about the conglomeration.
I'm going to choose my good one. And I'll say, like, I think I'm pretty happy about the fact that I'm in the top 1 million in ESPN, which is pretty good, frankly. That's like a top 10 percentile, top less than that. So, I missed...
Hanging out at 99th percentile.
All right, I'm 95th percentile, whatever, Drew. So you got a pretty good bracket then, man. Did you call some of these big upsets?
Not really. I mean, I have Syracuse winning up until now,
That's a big one. That's a big
so
one.
that was a big one. And I feel really good about, if you listen to our shows, my gambling picks. I loved the odds for a couple of underdogs. Florida State and Arkansas were plus 4,000 going into the tournament. So, brackets aside, look, my bracket has Gonzaga winning because Gonzaga is the best team. But my personal decisions aside, that bracket can go to hell if Florida State or Arkansas wins this thing at plus 4,000. And they both look like they have a shot the way they've been playing.
It's true. This is where I mean, you look through this in this Sweet 16, especially the way this has been. I mean, this tournament has the chance to have the most upsets in history. I mean, I think the record's 13, and they're at 11 or 12 now. With an upset being defined in the stats I was reading as 5 seed difference. So there's been even more if you count within 5 seeds, just the lower seed winning. I think there's been 14 to date, 13 or 14 because of that. So
I mean, I'd count USC kicking the crap out of Kansas as an upset.
I absolutely
and they were 3
would.
seeds apart.
Yep, and that wouldn't normally count. You're right. So the records are being set. There are records set for most upsets before the Sweet 16. So what that tells me is that anything could happen. It's so weird to think the confidence we have in Gonzaga, which is earned, it's due, it's merited. But
when you don't lose,
yeah, when you like what precedent do you have to go off of? Yeah, anything could happen with these teams. And looking at the Sweet 16, I'm thinking, man, there's not a team on there that I think is destined to lose. Like, these are going to be really, really good matchups end to end.
So you're an Oral Roberts Golden Eagles believer.
I really am, man. The way they've been playing. Now, you're right. Arkansas has been looking up as well, but I think that Oral Roberts has every bit of a chance to do this. And but I got to say, I'm most excited about the Loyola and Oregon State matchup. Just the heat behind those two teams. That's just going to be so much fun.
Love those dogs.
And the Beavers, Tinker's Beavers. Is that the coach's name? I giggle every time they say that.
Yeah, man. We talked about this a bit on the show on Sunday night, but it seems like it's more rife for upsets now. It's a little bit easier because there's so many teams out there who can get hot from beyond the arc. And there's just not so much you can do about that. We talk about Oral Roberts and Asmus getting hot from behind the arc. What are you going to do? Michigan was playing a really game LSU team in that second round. And then they got hot from three-point range and put that game away. I mean, we saw USC barely miss a shot in just destroying Kansas. And that's why you worry about Gonzaga this round, because Creighton's a team that can absolutely shoot the lights out on their best day. Nothing is guaranteed anymore. I mean, any of these games can go whichever way you want them to.
Yep.
But again, I look at these brackets and I see if Loyola can beat those Tinker's Beavers and Houston can kind of buck the odds and win as a 2 seed against a double-digit seed in Syracuse, who again, Buddy Boeheim, red hot from three-point range. That'll be an old-school NCAA matchup. Those are two teams that are built around defense. They're real physical. And that's what I'm rooting for right now. Besides my bracket it being good for, it would just be a different matchup than we've seen for a lot of these games, and it could be really interesting. Yeah, there's a lot of teams that could get red hot right now, but hey, I've still got all my Final Four teams left on my bracket. Got 7 out of my 8, Elite 8 teams. Sorry, 6 out of 8. Damn you, Kansas! That wasn't even close.
Oh wow! Yeah, I'm 6 out of 8. Oh no!
With as many things as I've gotten wrong so far, I still feel pretty good having that many left at this point in the bracket.
You should. That must be the difference between the 98th percentile and the 95th percentile. Because I'm sitting, man. I had Iowa in there and talking. In the Sweet 16 here, I had Iowa in there. I had Texas Tech in there. I had Ohio State. But Elite 8, all of mine. Nope, I'm missing Texas and Iowa. Texas Tech I had coming in there actually, out of that branch that's got Oral Roberts and Arkansas, all these other teams that we didn't that have really turned it on and wind up being really, really good teams. I picked Texas Tech.
Yeah, and then you look at the women's tournament, which is now decided all its Sweet 16 teams. Every 1 and 2 seed survived.
It's a totally, totally different game. Just the disparity there is crazy, and that can be fun. I think it's frankly a little less fun. I don't want to sell them short, but it's the way athletically I look at the NCAA football. There's the rankings are just create such a bigger difference, and
when the preseason standings are usually right, it's kind of boring.
Yeah, I agree, and so I just don't migrate towards those. I love though holding up NBA basketball to college basketball, and I mean we've talked about this last time. I compare them all the time, and you talked about the 3-point shooting taking flight in college basketball and how it's changing the pace of these games and really who can win. Well, that's the same in the NBA, and obviously it hit the NBA a while ago. It became a major strategy, but NBA, you look at the playoffs, and in general, that winds up being chalk. I mean, especially when it comes down to the semifinals and the finals, or the conference finals and the finals. And I think the reason is, and this is going to be, this is always an internal debate for me, is the series playoff games, best of series, versus win and go home, because they create totally
one game, anything can happen.
That's exactly right, and it is so much more fun. And I mean that's why I think, but the NBA has created a much more fair way of doing this, where the best team usually wins. And
that wouldn't work for an NBA season, You play the whole thing to seed it, and then you do a one-off tournament. It'd be fun. That's kind of what they're getting into a little bit with the play-in games.
Yep.
But no, it wouldn't work. It'd be completely unfair after that grind of a season to watch your playoff game, and LeBron gets eliminated after one game.
True. Like I can't justify it, but I am happy that the MLB's been doing it, and they just expanded it, and the NBA is adding these play-in games in, because they give you a little bit of that. They give you a little bit of a taste. They give you a little bit more of that excitement, a little bit longer playoffs, but without taking away from the final 16 teams or so playing it in a grit and grind kind of fashion.
Yeah, man, and we still get the tournament. We get March Madness.
That's right.
Excitement, and it's killer, man. And man, even in that women's tournament, though, you got your teams that you pretty much think will be there. I mean, I don't know too many people who didn't pick a Stanford versus UConn final, really. But I mean, that Baylor team that's a number 2 seed in UConn's own division, own region there, I feel like that might be the real finals before you even make it to the Final Four. I mean, UConn Baylor could be a crazy matchup there. Yeah, and we have seen some upsets. After the first night went 100% chalk, which was insane. There were a bunch of big upsets. We've lost a couple of number 3 seeds out of that tournament, including UT. Mm-hmm. It's continued their post-summit slide.
Yeah, they did the same thing in the men's tournament. Very disappointing postseason for UT, but
don't talk about football.
Yeah, I know. Seriously, let's not go there. And for a team that was storied, right? Like, and with the legend of Pat Summitt, who's just one of the more incredible coaches and athletes out there in history. It shows you how that can be disrupted, right? Because we look at this each time, and you're right. You look at UConn and Baylor; those could be the championship teams, frankly, and they kind of have been for years. Barring if Stanford has clearly been in that mix too. UT was in that mix for a long time, and a change in the culture, a change in the coach can change that. And so,
North Carolina's still there as a top seed.
True, and it can go forever.
Wolfpack was good this year.
Yeah,
you're a top seed for a reason, but yeah, when it seemed like UConn was going to win every single year, or UConn or UT was going to win every single year, That took some of the fun out of it. And I think one of the reasons that this bracket's been so much fun has been the new teams, the new juggernauts, and the new teams that came in and surprised people. I mean, Michigan State got eliminated in the first four game by UCLA, who's now on a little run of their own. Made it to the Sweet 16. Duke didn't even make it to the tournament. Louisville didn't even make it to the tournament. North Carolina went out in the first round. It got some fresh blood. That's the one question mark I have about that Gonzaga team right now, though. They've been so good for so long under Mark Few, but they've never won it all.
Mm-hmm.
And with all those expectations now of being the favorites, going for the undefeated season, they haven't been there before.
It's true.
But if any team's going to do it, it looks like it could be this one. But they've got to go through Creighton, that tough team, and then you've got USC and Oregon, two top hot teams at the bottom side of that region. And whoever comes out of the East, I mean, that's a bloodbath to me. Michigan looked so good. I think that LSU team could have been a Final Four team in another region.
Yeah,
there's just a lot of good teams there.
There really are, and it makes you wonder, like, did Gonzaga, if they can beat Creighton, did they get lucky? You know, that now they only have to face either USC or Oregon, and
not the way USC looked last game.
No, I mean, you're right. You can't say yes to that at all. But you know, if you were to say, man, the odds-on favorite is gonna have to be able to avoid 2 and 3 seeds coming into the sweets or the Elite Eight, you're like, all right, this is a sweet setup for us. But the way these are coming out, you're right. Like any of these teams could pull it out. So I expect any of those to be good games. But you know, one of the big variables in college basketball, you know, you talk about the experience, but it's rare that you have players who get to add up a lot of experience that really affect a team. I mean, you may have a few years in a row where that happens, but Mark Few has many, many years of tournament play. This guy's been coaching big games for a long time, and which is why I always bet on Tom Izzo. It didn't pay off this year, but truthfully, having a good coach there who knows the ins and outs of this and how to adapt and how to read these young players under these different circumstances is such an incredible benefit. So even though you're right, they've never won it all, Mark Few's got the accumulated experience in this tournament to give them a major edge.
I think we've seen some of that already. I mean, we saw Roy Williams lose in the first round for the first time ever, which was kind of shocking. But a team like Villanova that has been there before, that has been a champion under Jay Wright, they were written off by a lot of people, losing Connor Gillespie, their best player, arguably their best player right before the tournament started. And now they're in the Sweet 16, and you've got to give them a shot against Baylor.
True.
Even though that looks like a good matchup for Baylor on paper, you know, this is a team that's won the championship before in recent years. There's something to that being there before, that knowing how to win. And we see a lot of Cinderellas make it pretty deep into the tournament, but you don't see that many Cinderellas win it all.
That's true. Maybe into the championship at the most, and that's still even rare. So, but if this is going to happen, this is the year to do it. It's kind of weird, right? We've been waiting for Gonzaga to break through. So you're like, if Gonzaga is going to do it, this is their year. But they're not the Cinderella. This is also the year of the Cinderella. So every storyline has life. It'll be really intriguing to see what happens after this next round of games.
And how meaningful it is. We already saw Abilene Christian announce today that they expect that one win in the tournament, that upset against Texas, to be worth about $120 million to their school.
Yeah,
pay your players already.
No joke, and that's a totally it's not a different subject, but that raises the idea of like how much of a weird lottery this is too, beyond just the players that we talk about and the opportunity to win and how much was missed last year. But I mean, it feels like these teams are playing Keno, right, and like just waiting for the right numbers to drop so that they can win $120 million or whatever, and. It really sheds light on the motivation of these schools and the organizations, for sure.
But it makes it just that much more exciting when there's stakes on the line, when you got some skin in the game.
No
as
doubt.
Jamie Foxx tells us every week now.
Yep, but it does make a difference. I can't argue with him.
All right, man. So that starts tomorrow, or the day you guys will probably be watching this episode. Sweet 16 games. Back to sitting on the couch in front of the TV, enjoying NCAA tournament all day. March Madness is great.
It is.
It's just great.
I'm so glad we get to do these episodes to recap them because, like we've pointed out, we've got so much to talk about on Sundays, and March Madness is the perfect thing to catch midweek and talk about, especially since it's not pro sports. There's enough happening in pro sports. It's nice to be able to kind of put this to the side and dedicate some time to it.
Right on, man. We get to cover our pro sports every week on Walk It Off on WXNA and have some fun with that on Sunday nights. But, on Sunday night, we'll be talking about the Final Four for sure. We'll have a lot more knowledge on what happened there, where we're going into. But we get this little midweek update, and now we can talk about the Sweet 16, which we probably wouldn't even bother talking about on Sunday night because it'll already be old news by the time we're on there. So, yeah, man, this is fun. Aside, getting to see you, getting to mix myself up a drink, getting to show off our hat collections. I like that one.
I like yours.
Oh, yeah. You're still second place, buddy. The brand new.
That's true. That's pretty sweet.
WXNA ball caps from the last pledge drive.
I do really, really like those a lot.
Well, if you head on over to WXNAFM.org, you can donate, you can get some swag, but you can't get one of these because every pledge drive is unique stuff. You just have to pay attention to when we're in a pledge drive week again. But, man, that's always fun. And then, hey, we're here, walkitoffradio.com, putting out new stuff for you.
That's right. Keep checking it out. Keep giving us feedback. We cannot say that enough. We have the ability and the want to adjust our content, within the scope of our philosophy. See digital episode 1 from 2 weeks ago.
I'm still trying to figure out lighting.
To me,
obviously.
Hey,
we'll get there one of these days.
Well, we're still radio guys, and maybe we might have faces for radio. So I certainly belong further in the dark. But that's not an insult to you, Drew.
That's further in the light. Hold on.
Yeah, I know. Just pull the hat down. We might have to do this masked now, and not the COVID
siesta
mask.
Time.
I have started taking naps like that, which I think makes me kind of old. I'm not gonna lie, but
dude, that's one of the great reasons to wear hats. You just tilt that thing down, and you're gone.
The lights are out. I love it. I love it.
All right. Speaking of lights out, it's been great to see you, buddy.
Feelings mutual.
We'll do this again, and of course, we'll be on the radio right here in Nashville, Tennessee.
Can't wait.
Sunday night, 101.5 FM, as always. But yeah, good to see you, man. Let me know how that shot goes.
And to you,
vaccinated up, sneaking into the Card Stadium.
That's right. Maybe I'll see Larry Fitz or hang out.
Don't get caught in that turf elevator or whatever it is.
Oh yeah, where they take the turf in and out. Oh my gosh, that'd be cool. Actually, scary but cool. I'll report back though, and hopefully this means we'll be seeing each other in person sometime real soon, my man.
Absolutely. Take care of yourselves out there. Be good to each other. Get your damn vaccines if you can.
That's right. See you later.